Well, I'm gonna go somewhere different tonight. I'm gonna touch about this redlining. It just it's alarming though. Redlining is a discriminatory practice that puts services, financial and otherwise, out of reach for residents of certain areas, based on race or ethnicity. It can be seen as a systematic denial of mortgages, insurance, loans, and other financial service based on location and the area's default history rather than on an individual qualifications and creditworthiness. Notably, the policy of the red line is felt the most by residents of minority neighborhoods. The term redline was coined by sociologist John McKnight in the 1960s, and it derives from how the federal government and lenders will literally draw a red line on a map around the neighborhoods they will not invest in. Based on demographics alone, black inner city neighborhoods were most likely to be redlined. Investigations found that lenders would make loans to lower income whites, but not to middle or upper class African American families. Indeed, in the 1930s, the federal government began redlining real estate, making it risky in neighborhoods for federal mortgage loans on the basis of race. The result of this redlining in the real estate could still be felt decades later. In 1996, homes in redline neighborhoods were worth less than half that of the homes that the government would deem as best for mortgage lending, and the disparity has only grown greater in the last 2 decades. Examples of redlining are student loans, credit cards, insurance. Because certain money they won't even lend you because your credit learning is in the high rates of default, so that people in that area go according to your zip code. This took place in the nation's largest cities such as Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Tampa, and others with large minority population. Talk about urban decay, urban America, where blacks and Spanish and all this stuff is in. This caused banks and other mortgage lenders commonly rejected loans for creditworthy borrowers based on social race or where they live at. For a prime example, I'm going to list some things in the Bronx that's redlined. Some parts of New York City I'm going on. Brownsville, Upper East Side, Fordham, University Heights, Queensbridge, Long Island City, Queens, Mott Haven, Melrose, that's all in the Bronx, East Harlem, Canarsie, Greenport, Williamsburg, downtown Brooklyn, Jackson Heights. These are the areas I listed, and I'm going to put Marizana in this too, because those are areas that deal with poverty, high crimes, poor health problems, housing, domestic violence, violence in neighborhood, exposure and pollution, mass incarceration, drugs, and gentrification in schools also. These are areas that, real estates will not invest in. If you are African American looking to get a loan to get a house or something, they won't even give you the money because that area has a default history and they don't trust you because it depends on your credit score and stuff. They still won't trust you to lend you money to do other things with it because they think you're gonna default and not pay it. So they give you a high risk. They'll put you in a high risk bracket. Sub loans and stuff. Even though you may have a history of not paying those loans and stuff, so they'll put you, on a payment plan or so forth. But sometimes, that could be discriminated to a T. Even though if you try to get a student loan to better yourself to go to college because you may don't have the income to pay, to go pay your way to go to college, you may have to qualify for a loan and all that stuff, even though you may get declined. So these things hurt blacks. These things hurt African Americans, in the community as well, because you could have a good credit score and still may not qualify for that loan to get, because of your credit worthiness and all that stuff, and depends on the zip code you live in. And this could be job discrimination as well, because if you're a black man or black woman, you try to look for a job, you won't get hired because they look at that area, they discriminate you in that area. If you try to get an apartment, that's the racial steering as well. That's going to be another topic I'm going to touch on later on down the line in the future. So if you like this content, subscribe to the page, hit the like button. It's free. It don't cost you a thing. You could donate. Donations is not a problem. I'm blessed, whatever. Enjoy this topic and good night.